47. Later, the silicon technology was in full swing from 1955 to 59. Later, the first IC was introduced in the year 1960s. 1960s. That time only very less number of gates, right? Small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration, very large scale integration, ultra large scale integration, like that different generations of ICs were there, right? First ICs, there were only either three components like that, maximum only 30 gates. That means tens of gates were placed inside the IC. Beginning, right? First ICs only small number of gates were placed. Gate means logic gates. Logic gates per chip. They were from 3 to 10, 3 to 30 gates were placed inside the IC per, inside the IC in small scale integration. Later what happened, not only 3 to 30 gates, from 30 to 300 gates. That means the technology has changed. Because of the technological advancements, it was possible to place more number of gates inside the chip. That was called as medium scale integration. We are talking about integrated circuits, and a small scale integration took place in the beginning. Later, now you are in the beginning of online teaching, right? So from first day to this third day, you have gained some experience. First day you might have faced so many problems. Now you have gained some experience. Like that, you will be habituated to this, and you will understand how to make use of maximum utilization of our online classes. Similarly, when it was invented, when the first IC was invented, only 3 to 30 gates were there inside the IC. Later, because of the technological advancements, the medium scale integration took place, and 30 to 300 gates, that means more number of gates were placed inside the IC from 1965 to 1970. Later, electronics engineers, they never sleep, they never take rest. Okay, they never take rest. Always they try to do lot of research. That's why compared to other fields, always you will be getting new electronic gadget. Okay, first you have used, what is that, Nokia 1100 or something, right? Before that, some Motorola something, so many Siemens, so many phones. 2G phones you have used. Now are you using 2G phone?
No.
No, ma'am.
Many of you are using smartphones, right? That means electronics engineers always they are doing research, and they are inventing new things, and the research is at a very faster rate. That's why we have used 2G phones, again 3G, and then now 4G phones you are using, and soon we are going to migrate into 5G also, right? So if your phone is not working properly, don't change now, right? You wait for some time. Don't pressurize your parents, right? Soon we are going to get 5G directly, because 4G phones are not compatible with 5G. 5G is a completely different technology. Therefore, you wait for some time. So, and otherwise, if you are very rich enough, you can once again buy your 4G, and then you can also buy 5G. And whenever there is change in technology, you can change your phone. That's okay, right? So like that, these electronics engineers, always they are doing lot of research, and later from medium scale to large scale integration also took place. That means from 1970s to 75, from 300 hundreds to 3000 gates were placed inside the chip. That means initially in small scale integration, tens of gates, and in medium scale integration, hundreds of gates, in large scale integration, thousands of gates, right? Then we have next level, that is very large scale integration. In very large scale integration, more than 3K gates, that means what is that? These are thousands, no? Lakhs of gates, millions of gates are used in this very large scale integration. So in the year 1975 onwards, very large scale integration has started. Anyhow, very large scale integration or VLSI design, we have one subject in your next semester. Preferably we both same combination, myself and Ramakrishna Reddy sir will be taking that subject again in the next semester if possible, if everything goes well, right? And after that we have ultra large scale integration. In VLSI, millions of 1 million active devices, right? In ultra large scale, millions of gates and transistors are placed. Active devices means only transistors. So till now, you know, whenever we say the term transistor, you are getting bipolar junction transistor or BJT, right? But in ICs, BJT is not preferable because of the several reasons we will discuss later whenever we come across, right? Field effect transistors are placed inside the IC because of several advantages, right? You know one thing, we are still actually, our university is also updating our syllabus, but in my son is studying at IIT Delhi. Of course, he has completed his studies recently. Right, when he joined in 2015, his electronics professor said in 2015, BJT is assigned as given as assignment to you because it is outdated. I'll start from MOSFET, right? So that means how advanced they are, you can imagine, right? So these in ultra large scale or VLSI, no more transistors, only what is that? Field effect transistor and FETs are used. MOSFETs are used. No more BJTs, right? So this is what about chip size and complexity. Same thing I can just show you like this. Small scale integration, integrated circuits. There are 5 generations of integrated circuits. One is small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration, very large scale integration, and ultra large scale integration, right? Just now I have mentioned hundreds of active devices, thousands of, less than hundreds here, right? So hundreds of active devices here, thousands of devices here, and more than 1 lakh and over million active devices. That means lakhs of devices here. Let us see what are the resulting circuits, right? So in small scale integration of ICs, in small scale integrated ICs, what were the ICs that are, what were the components that were placed inside the IC, we can see, right? So resistors were placed inside the IC and some diodes and some BJTs. Those days MOSFETs and FETs were also not there, and in the first, small scale integrated integration generation, the resistors, diodes and BJTs were placed inside the IC, right? And later in medium scale integration, BJTs and MOSFETs were placed inside the IC. And later only MOSFETs. And you can see VLSI 8-bit and 16-bit microprocessors are also placed inside the IC. Later, Pentium microprocessors, all these were placed inside the IC. That means as the technology advances from the beginning towards the right edge, what happens? More and more technology is placed, or more and more logic or more and more circuits are placed inside the IC. This is what we have to remember. Then we have ultra large scale, then we have giant scale integration, GSI also, right? Now all that is beyond the scope. So just let me mention what are the how these ICs are classified. With that brief general information about ICs, let me mention what are the different classification of ICs. Mainly, the ICs are classified into 2 categories: digital ICs and linear ICs. These linear ICs are also called as analog ICs, right? So digital ICs and linear ICs. And these linear ICs we are studying as a subject linear IC applications. And digital ICs, I think you have DICA, right? Digital IC applications. LICA and DICA, these are the two subjects. That means you are completely learning about all types of ICs, right? So these integrated circuits, they are manufactured using different process techniques, monolithic circuits, thick and thin film, and hybrid circuits. And we'll see about those later. In monolithic, we have bipolar and unipolar devices. What is a what is that? Why? What is a bipolar device? Otherwise, your BJT is a bipolar or unipolar device?
Bipolar.
Bipolar.
Bipolar, ma'am.
Bipolar. That's why. What is BJT expansion? Bipolar junction
Junction
transistor.
transistor.
Junction
That's why
transistor.
from the name bipolar junction transistor.
Transistor.
So bipolar
Transistor.
device, of course there will be PN junction isolation and there will be dielectric isolation. That means monolithic ICs are designed by using bipolar devices BJTs or unipolar devices MOSFET. Right? What do you mean by bipolar? Current is due to both types of
Both the type.
both, yes,
There are two junctions,
majority
ma'am.
carriers, minority carriers, both types of carriers, right? So current is due to both majority carriers
Types
and
of carriers.
minority carriers.
Minority
Okay.
carriers.
Right. Okay, current direction, emitter current, base current, collector current, like that you have. Whereas if you see your MOSFET or JFET, what are the terminals of effect? Source, drain,
Source, drain,
and
Gate.
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 What are the terminals of a BJT? Emitter,
Base
base,
collector.
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 Emitter, base, collector. You have to connect emitter connections to emitter only, collector connections to collector only, base connections to base only. Whereas in MOSFET or in JFET, what are the terminals? Source, drain, and
Source,
gate.
drain, gate.
Drain,
Gate.
source,
Okay.
gate.
Source and drain are manufactured or designed identically. Therefore, even if you change source as drain and drain as source, no problem, right? So that is the advantage with this. So anyhow, what here from this slide, what I want to communicate is the ICs are classified into the two types, digital ICs and linear ICs, and they are manufactured with these process technologies, and we concentrate more on monolithic ICs, and monolithic circuits are ICs are designed with bipolar and unipolar devices. You know what is a bipolar and unipolar device, right? So what do you see on this slide?
ICs.
What do you
Classification of ICs.
Different packages of ICs, ma'am.
Very good, very good. Different packages of IC. Just let me, now and then I'm taking your attendance and I'm observing who is talking, right? Who is giving response, all that. Okay, because your, name will be highlighted. So it is nice that some of you are responding very well. Right. Now, what do you see here on this packages? Package means
Different
what?
types
When
of
you
ICs.
yes,
Types of ICs.
when you order what is that, some item on Amazon, what they say, your item is being packed, right? Without packing, if they deliver, what will happen? Different parts will be going at different left at different stages, and finally we receive which is not useful, right? So therefore, packaging is very important, right? So among all these, which type of package you have seen in our lab? Among all these, Which type of package, Emma?
Dual in package, ma'am.
Very good. Yes,
DIP.
yes. You are, yes,
Dual
DIP,
in line.
DIP. Right.
Dual in
That
line,
means
ma'am.
this type of dual inline package ICs you have seen, and this is also same dual inline package, right? So I don't know you are using IC base or not in our lab. Are you using IC base?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
IC
No,
is
ma'am.
Yes,
costly,
ma'am.
Only.
therefore always you should not
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
this IC inside the breadboard and remove. And therefore what we do is first we connect IC base and then we
After
give all connections. Once if all the connections are okay, then only we insert this IC on that IC base and we verify our circuit, right? So these are the various IC packages that are available. So this is very familiar to you. These IC packages are very familiar to you. Then let us let me go towards right or left. Flat package you want or metal can you want? Let me tell you
Metal
about
can.
flat. Okay, metal can,
Metal can,
right?
ma'am.
Yes, yes, metal can. This is looking like a transistor, no? Right? So this metal
Yes, ma'am.
can,
Ma'am.
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
this metal can ICs, you have seen these ICs. Will you agree with me?
yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Where have
ma'am.
you seen?
No.
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
capacitor,
No,
You
no,
ma'am.
ma'am.
verify. Next time you verify, right? So you realize whenever you see an IC, whenever you go to your what is that lab or somewhere, you have seen this type of ICs also. Some applications, this metal can packaged ICs are required, right? So this is it like metal with metal, therefore its name is called metal can. And then this is two lines, dual inline package, and this is flat pack recent. That means for some applications this flat pack ICs, some regulator ICs, all that they require this type of package. Therefore some ICs, if you tell me the name of an IC, what you know? One IC name, whether it is analog or dis- triple five IC.
LM
Very
triple
good.
five.
Very good, very good. Right.
565.
So triple five IC you have heard about, right? So
741.
this yes,
Yes, ma'am.
741 also. So many ICs you know. Very good, very good. So each IC has its own applications, right? So depending on the application, same IC is available sometimes in flat pack, sometimes in dual inline package, sometimes in only dual inline package, or sometimes only in metal can. Have you followed? So
Yes,
whenever
ma'am.
we see, whenever we see the specifications of an IC, they will mention whether this IC is available in flat pack or whether it is available in dual inline package, or how, in what type of package it is available, it is how many pins IC, and inside that IC what is the circuit, what are the pins, which pin is suitable for output, which is the input pin, where you have to take output, everything will be mentioned by the manufacturers on their specification sheet, right? So that means each IC, now I am seeing you on my computer, right? So if someone talks, I understand that so and so with this register name number and from this class is talking to me. Similarly, here on this IC specifications are there. Manufacturers will tell this is the IC and this is the maximum current that you can apply. Otherwise, this is the maximum current that you can allow. This is the maximum voltage it can withstand, and this is the maximum temperature that it can withstand. All these specifications are specified by the manufacturers, right? So I have one exercise equipment at home, and they will say people with more than 100 kgs weight, this is not suitable.
ఎందుకన్నావు వద్దని చెప్పాను కదా నేను ఆడుకోరాడు బయట ఇక్కడ తీసుకుంటానని చెప్పారా
Chandragiri Apurva.
ఎందుకులో
Chandragiri Apurva Devi.
వస్తుంది
Ma'am,
Please
sorry,
mute
ma'am.
your
Sorry,
mic.
ma'am.
Chandragiri
Okay, ma'am,
Apurva
sorry, ma'am.
Devi. Devendra. Please mute your mic. Chandragiri Apurva Devendra. Right. Number చూద్దాం తర్వాత. Right. Okay, ma. If it is by mistake, no problem. Who is that?
Ma'am, by mistake, ma'am.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay,
ma'am.
no problem, no problem, no problem. Because you are at home now, you are a mother. Someone is,
Yes, ma'am. With my grandmother, ma'am.
yeah, EC section A, 413, na?
413, ma'am.
18 NG,
Yes, ma'am.
130.
413.
Everything is
Yes, ma'am.
displayed here. Okay, no problem, no
Okay.
problem. Right? It is not
Thank
a
you.
crime. Right? Okay.
Sorry, ma'am.
No problem, no problem. Right? So, dual inline package, all these are available, right? So now manufacturers will mention what are the package types and for what application this is required, all that. Okay, so I think we try to reduce the time if possible, right? Just let me show you which applications, which type of package is used. Shall I proceed further, or you want to have any? I think discussion purpose we cannot have this media, because all of you will unmute and talk at a time. Therefore, I think you might be having one WhatsApp group. Otherwise, you create and you just post your what is that, questions or queries. Otherwise, one day we will have completely our question and answer session, right? In one way or the other, we will have our question and answer session, and therefore I am not going to maybe any one or two. I think hand raise option is there. You raise your hand so that we can ask you question. Otherwise, okay, for time being, let us not have all of you at once, right? Let us not have questions at the same time. You post, you type and post in chat box, right? We will follow. I try to see your questions, and in the next class I will answer, right? So that will be better to save others time. Right now, let us see how do we select when these different packages are available. Which type of package you select, whether you want flat pack, or you want dual inline package, or you want metal can. Which type of package you want to select? There are some guidelines. So what type of applications metal can package can be selected? So where we have more heat dissipation, that means at high temperatures. For industrial applications, not only industrial, some applications heat dissipation is more. Such applications, that means when will be more heat? When the power is very high, right? So like in power amplifiers and voltage regulators, all such cases, this metal can type package is mostly used, right? Now when I say voltage regulator, have you seen a regulated power supply in our lab?
Yes, ma'am.
Regulated power supply in our lab you have seen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
At the back of
Yes,
that
ma'am.
regulated power supply, always you might have seen its front view only. Just you see a back side once, there will be, of course there will be power transistor actually, because it will be it is a power source, it is giving regulated power, it will be dissipating more power. That's why power amplifier or power transistors are used there, and because of that there will be some heat sink, all that. You just see the back of our regulated power supply unit. Okay, and of course all these once again we'll discuss, ma, right? Yeah, in our syllabus sequence once again we'll discuss. All right, then a dual inline package, and this is for you have seen this dual inline package. This is for experimental or breadboarding purpose, right? So if it is a metal can, of course metal can also can be used, but most of the time on breadboard you will be using this dual inline package, right? and some other soldering whenever there is if bending or soldering of leads is not required, such cases you can use this dual inline package. And otherwise this DIP package is suitable for printed circuit boards like that. Okay, then let us see the last one, that is flat pack. Right, this flat pack where more reliability is required, it is used, and it is very light in weight, and it is suitable for what applications? Airborne
Airborne
applications.
application.
That means in flights and all. Yes, in flights, aeroplanes, such applications, this flat pack is used. Why? Light in weight, right? Because of its package type, this is light in weight. So whenever we talk about aeroplane or airborne applications, see, when you travel by flight, along with your ticket, I think Air India people, they give 25 kgs per ticket, right? So if your carriage of your luggage, if it is more than 25 kgs per kg, you have to pay some more extra money, because weight is
Some
very
charge.
important when your flight flies in the air, right? So weight is very important. So if the weight exceeds, they will be charging more. That's why what we do, we buy flight ticket with thousands of rupees, but we don't like to pay extra charges for extra weight. So what we do, we take weight outside. If there is something more than 25 kgs, what we do now, we remove some more material and we try to fit inside. That means what here I want to stress is, airborne applications, weight is a very important factor. So such applications, flat pack is used. And in our laboratory like that, for experimental purpose, dual inline package is used. That's why all of you have identified your DIP package IC. Then metal can package also, you might have seen some applications. So wherever there are high power applications, we use this metal can type package, right? So I think I have given you a lot of information regarding these ICs, right? Various types of IC, classification of ICs, then various generations of ICs, then its size and complexity, what are the advantages of ICs, and what are the applications of ICs, and what is the definition for IC, all that. Okay. So with this information for today, I try to stop my lecture, and once again, uh, just be online only, because I'm going to take your attendance once again. Already I have taken 2 times, right? So I have taken your attendance, right? So many times we are taking. In between there was more number of people. Now one or two, of course 4 or 5 have reduced. But anyhow, you try to maintain your attendance. And we also want to make your online class more interesting by giving some what is that, polls also. We are still working on this software. We'll give you some polls, some quizzes, and we try to make your online learning process more interesting. Okay, shall I stop here?
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
very
Thank
good.
you,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
Thank
madam.
you, ma'am.
Right, we shall meet in the next class.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
ma'am.
madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right, right,
MC college ఉందా
Thank
ma'am?
you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
right, right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Uh,
ma'am.
okay, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Geeta,
Ma'am,
Stay
tomorrow is
safe.
holiday,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
tomorrow.
Ma'am, tomorrow is holiday.
I don't know exactly. We don't have any circular, right?
August 15,
So
madam.
whenever
Second
we
Saturday,
have
madam.
whenever we have class, we will such days we will just send you an invitation, or we schedule our class. Okay. So wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
God
ma'am.
Thank
bless
you,
you.
ma'am.
Right, Lokesh,
Stay
Suma.
safe, ma'am.
Right, right. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Online black holding, madam.
Hello, Akil ga.
Class అయిపోయిందిరా.
అరే సుమంత్ రేపు సెలవేనా కాదా?
అరే నవీన్ గా నువ్వు మైక్
అయ్యా.
ఆఫ్ చేసి ఆన్ చేయలేదు అనుకో క్లాస్ మధ్యలో గుండు బయలు చెప్తున్నా.
అయ్యా ఇగో
లాస్ట్
అది ఆపరా మరి ఎందుకుంటుందిరా?
ఏంటి
ఏదన్నా కంప్లైంట్ వస్తే నవీన్ గారి మీద ఇచ్చేస్తానా నేను అయితేనా?
ఎట్లాంటి కథలతోమా నేను అసలు ఈ క్లాస్ లో బుస్ చెప్తానో తెలుసా? గమ్ము కూర్చోన్నా అసలు నోరు కూడా
అన్ని రికార్డ్ అవుతున్నాయిరా రిమూవ్ చేస్తుంది బద్దాకలా